All right, everybody. Let's hopefully you can hear me, see me. I have to change my name. What's up? Let me just give me a couple of seconds recording. Cool. So welcome guys to SellerPro Strategy Call. This is what date is it today? Is the 24th of October. 2019. And if it is your first time here, welcome. Hopefully you get a lot of value out of these calls that we do every 2 weeks. If it's not your first time, and obviously there's a few people, I recognize your names, you've been here before, then you'll know what the structure's like. The idea of these calls is for you guys to just kind of ask questions and get my thoughts, my feelings, or any feedback basically. In terms of how we structure them is, what I want you to do is use the chat. And if you have questions, just ping them down in the chat. What you can also do is next to your kind of box, your name, there is 3 dots. Now, I believe if you tap that, you can do a thing called raise a hand. And what that does, it pops up so I can actually see that someone's looking to like unmute themselves. So if you want to actually unmute yourself, you want to get on the video, you can absolutely do that. Just don't obviously do it without me saying like, hey, yeah, unmute your video, because otherwise, again, it will be carnage. We want everyone be able to kind of hear and see perfectly. Also, make sure that you don't accidentally unmute it when you're eating crisps. That did happen once, and we got a nice audio of someone eating crisps. I can't remember who it was though. So yeah, what is really helpful for me, as you just kind of before we get into questions, what's really helpful for me is to understand what stage you're at in your journey. So if you can let me know, guys, everyone that's on the call right now, if you can let me know where you are in your journey, be that you've just enrolled and you're going through the training, if that's you're doing a product research, you've ordered your products, waiting for it to arrive, you're launched, you're selling. It was really helpful if I can know where everyone is at, just because then I can make sure that we try and kind of answer questions that are relevant to you guys, rather than talk about stuff that's maybe not so relevant. So yeah, Chris waiting samples, Amir products, ordering products, waiting to arrive. Joe, done product research, sourcing products. Cool. Neil, currently stagnating. That's not good. We need progress. We're gonna get some progress after this call. I want some progress. What about everyone else? I want you guys to find the chat menu and get in here. Yeah, these calls are for you guys. It's so that you can make the most out of it. And the other thing that is really kind of a good thing to do is just take note of everyone else that's on the call. And when you see each other in the Facebook group, what I tend to see at least is that the same people that I see on the calls are the same people that engage in the Facebook group. They're the same people that are successful, because you're always engaged, always trying to learn, you're always trying to help each other out. It's a common denominator. You know, the community is as strong as you guys want to make it. So yeah, just take a little note of everyone's, not note, but just take a little mental note of everyone's name so you kind of know who everyone is. 11 months selling, 3 SKUs building, like it a lot. I've actually got more 10K. There we go. Just gonna mute that. Well, I have more. Got more 10K awards. I had some delivered this morning as well. They're literally getting like hotcakes these days. I want to buy products, but supplier price too high. Okay, we can talk about that today. Still on the course and familiarizing with Amazon. That's cool. Okay, guys. So if you want to start kind of asking questions and putting them down in the chat, then I will start going through questions. So what do you guys want to talk about? Product research at the moment. Nice. Like it. Let me do a little. Oh, why are people calling me? People calling my phone. Let's get this on Instagram. I'll give you guys a second just to come up with some questions. Or even if it's not questions, if you want to talk about topics, then I can just continue to talk for days. But can we understand ACOS and TCOS? Yes, we can. We'll absolutely talk about it. It's a very good topic to talk about. We will definitely do that. Brand name, coming up with one. Yes, I like talking about that sort of stuff as well. We'll do that. Let me just get this on the old thingamajiggy. I'm surrounded by lights. I think a boomerang will do, wouldn't it? Yeah. Oh, it's good. It's good, everyone. Hazmat review. Yes, we can definitely talk about that. Chris, can you just elaborate maybe a little bit more about specifically what you mean with regards to the hazmat review? Because it's quite obviously a broad, if it's going through hazmat review, if it's figuring out if something needs to go through it. There's a few things in there. Pay for extension web app, cannot connect on web app. Okay. For that, just contact the I guess Jungle Scout. Just contact them. Contact the support. I think it's like support@junglescout.com. Obviously, they're the best people. So I can't help with that. So yeah, go through that. Right, let's go. Start going through some of these. What I'm going to do is actually go with Joe's kind of topic first, guys. And as you come up with questions, as I come up with things that you want me to talk about, just ping them down in the chat, and I'm going to keep kind of referring back to the chat as much as I possibly can. Okay. Cool. So Joe, brand name, coming up with one. Brand name is really, personally, I feel brand name is really important. I feel branding is really important. And what I would do after this call is head on to YouTube, because a few weeks ago, I actually uploaded a video about brand names, which was really, really good. So I might try and bring up my notes for that video. I'm not sure. But with brand names, there's kind of two influential moments when a brand name is very, very important, right? The first time is the first time someone sees your brand name. So that's why you want it to be memorable. You want it to be easy to read. You want it to be easy to speak, easy to write, because it needs to be memorable. Okay, there's the whole familiarity thing with the brand name that is really important. If it's too obscure and it's too different, then it won't resonate with someone. And although it may not seem like a big deal, people make subconscious decisions about a product, about a company, depending on the brand name. You know, if you have a brand that's meant to be quite kind of clinical and you had a brand name that was maybe a bit obscure and a bit funky, then it doesn't match up, right? Your brand name tells a lot about the type of company you are. So the first thing you probably want to do is, rather than come up with brand names, is instead come up with, who are you as a brand? What does it mean to be example brand? You know, what does it sound like? What does it look like? You know, what kind of brand are you? Are you luxury? Are you going to be, fun? Are you going to be educational? Like, what kind of brand are you? Because then it allows you to create the names that represent who you are as a brand. Because the second most important time someone reads, hears, or sees your brand name is the second time they see it, or every single time after the second time. Every single time after the second time. Because at that point, you don't want it to mean something different, right? And try and bear with me on this. The first time someone hears a brand name or sees a brand name, it's important because it's going to form like an impression in their mind. The second time they hear it, it needs to back up everything that you wanted someone to think about your brand, right? If that makes any sort of sense. So if it is, again, like luxury brand, then you need to make sure it does back that up. In terms of coming up with ideas, then give me a second. Okay, so I would highly recommend getting 2 books. The first book is this one here. In here, I have a section that talks about brand names somewhere. Somewhere in here. No. No. Unique selling points. Okay, cool. Creating a brand that stands out from the crowd. Not that, it's not a massive section, but that will really, really help you in terms of coming up with the actual brand name and what the brand looks, what it feels like, what it sounds like, that sort of stuff. The second book with coming up with names is this one here, okay? And this is where I referenced this in this book. This is where I got some of the like strategies in terms of the way to create brand names. It comes from this book here. It's called The Business Idea Factory. And the whole idea is you just keep coming up with names, right? Get a piece of paper and just keep coming up with names. Doesn't matter how obscure they are, how weird they are, how wrong they are. You have to keep coming up with them. And what happens is that you start engaging your brain a little bit more. You start getting more creative, and you've wrote down 100 names, and 5 of them will be okay, but then one of them is going to be really good. But it might be the 80th one that you think of. So if you only think of 5 names, you're never going to be able to work your brain hard enough to come up with that 80th one, which is the one you want to keep. The other thing is also talk to people about it. Ask people questions. If you have friends, just say, "What do you think about this? What do you think of when you hear, the example brand name?" Yeah, does that help? Let me pick up some more questions, and we can circle back to these questions, guys. If you have follow-up questions, we can absolutely circle back to that. Got some more people on the call. Wicked. All right, let me scroll back up. Did that kind of help? And do you want me to go into any more detail? Does anyone else want me to go into more detail with any of those things? Oh my God, I can't find it. Where am I? Okay, so Amir, you wanted to ask about ACOS and TCOS. Okay, so for those that don't know, ACOS is average cost of sale, advertising cost of sale. So basically what it means is how much money have you had to spend to sell a product? And this is for your Amazon advertising, your pay-per-click advertising. So say, for example, you sell for £20, then you spend £5 to sell a product that is £20, your ACOS is 25%. Okay, so it's a quarter. You spend a quarter of that money, that £20, on making that sale. It's 25%. So that's a really important metric to have, because that allows you to then optimize PPC, which keywords are working, which are not, and you can align that to your profit margin. So if you know your profit margin is 30, 40%, you know that really you don't want to be spending more than 30, 40% on your advertising or your ACOS, right? However, there is a really important figure that not a lot of people talk about, and that's TCOS, which is total cost of sales. What happens is that when you start getting ranked on Amazon and you're running advertising and your BSR starting to lower, your rank starting to decrease, you're going up on the page and etc., then you're going to be making more organic sales. And organic sales have zero advertising cost of sales. It doesn't cost you anything to make those sales because they're organic. People have searched on Amazon, they've scrolled down, they've clicked on your listing, and they've bought it. The thing is, though, that sometimes you may be making sales from your advertising that allow you to decrease your BSR, your bestseller rank, which means you make more organic sales. So sometimes the more advertising you do, the more sales you make, which means the better your rank gets, which means the more organic sales you make. So the real figure that we need to be looking at is your total cost of sales. So if you're doing, just to keep it easy, 10,000 in sales, okay, your ACOS could be like 50%, right? For every single product that you sell that's directly related to advertising. But they may allow you to increase your bestseller rank, which means you make more organic sales, which are free, there's no advertising costs. So your total cost of sales might be 15%, right? Which is good. So that means 15%, which is £1,500, is spent to make that 10,000. Right? So the total cost of sales is profitable, but maybe the advertising cost of sales is not profitable. Does that make any sense? Does everyone kind of follow with that? Just before, just say yes or no, because I know it's a little bit confusing. Let me know if I did explain that. If I explained it badly, then please let me know. So everyone, a few people saying yes, but I'll just give you guys a second to to answer. And so obviously advertising cost of sale is really important. It's a very important metric because that's how you optimize PPC. You need to be able to optimize your PPC, okay? But what you then need to look at is your total cost of sale at the same time, because if your total cost of sale is, say for example, going down, but your advertising cost of sale is going up, then it's fine, right? Because your organic rank is increasing. You're spending more on advertising, but you're making more organic sales because of the more money that you're spending on advertising. So it's a trade-off that you want to do. It's a very, very important metric to look at because you might look at your PPC and go, oh my God, like, oh, it's 40% for this like one campaign. But then actually they're providing so many sales that on your total cost of sales, it's actually very profitable, right? Would it be good to max out on PPC at the beginning to get a good BSR, then go organic? Okay, so if you're making money on PPC, you always want to do it, okay? You want to continue to spend money on PPC if over the total cost of sales, the TCOS, you're making money, okay? You always want to do that because if you were to stop doing the advertising and you were to lose those extra sales, your BSR would increase, so the number would go up, which means you would fall down the rank, right? It means you'd make less organic sales, you would make less money. So sometimes, like everyone says, the saying goes, you have to spend money to make money. It's a careful balance, okay? But once you find the balance, then it's something that you just want to monitor. At the beginning, you're never going to know what the right percentage is going to be. You're never going to know what the right bids are going to be. It takes time, and it does take time to optimize, guys. It's not something that can be done in 2 weeks. You know, optimization is something that you can be doing constantly, or a lot of the time. In terms of kind of answering the question a bit more specifically, then is it good to max out on PPC at the beginning? It depends, right? If at the beginning you don't have data, okay? So when you start running advertising, it doesn't matter how much research you do, how much keyword research, you're never going to know what other people are bidding for keywords. You're just not going to know. So you need data first, and you don't want to max out your budget. You don't want to max out the amount of money that you have to spend on PPC without having data. You run PPC, you gather data, you get as much of it as you can. You try and be as efficient with your money as possible, but understand that it will get better over time as you gather more data. The only thing that you should be making decisions with regards to PPC is data, not emotionally. You don't make an emotional decision with PPC. Let the data tell you what customers are doing. And what is the auto campaign? Auto campaign is a type of campaign where you basically turn it on and then Amazon will look at the SEO on your listing. They'll look at your title, your bullet points, your backend keywords, your descriptions, and it will work out what your product is, and then it will generate the keywords that it will then bid for to try and sell your product. So it's automatic, so you don't have to do anything. The good thing with that is it uses your SEO, right? So if you have good SEO, then Amazon will go out and find customers. The bad thing is that you can't really optimize it. Okay, that's why you take the keywords that you then find that convert and you put them into manual campaigns so that you can do bid adjustments, you can do placement adjustments, you can test them, you can optimize them. Auto campaigns are great ways to gather data because Amazon's always trying to gather as much data as they possibly can. They're trying to sell as many units as possible for you. But equally, it's going to be the most inefficient campaign that you run because you can't optimize it. You can't optimize bids, and that's really important. You can remove keywords from your auto campaign, but you can't optimize bid management. And bid management is just saying, well, for this particular keyword, I want to put my max bid as £1 per click. But for this one, I want to put it as 56 pence. With auto campaigns, you can't do that. There's no ability to do that. Amazon do it for you automatically. Right, let me scroll up and let me find another question. How's everyone doing so far? Give me a little bit of feedback. Let me know how we're doing. And continue to ask questions, guys. Just so we always have questions to go to. Right, let me do some scrolling. Okay, so Chris, we were talking about hazmat review. I think there was another, okay. So submitted your SDS, but not been accepted, so submit a new one. Latest update is on shipping plan. Is this product has completed dangerous goods, but could not be classified. The documentation submitted, it's inconsistent, does not match the product. Please provide additional, don't know what additional clarification is, and Seller Central is. No, it's okay. So basically it's a problem with hazmat review. Sometimes, unfortunately, it can be something very, very, very small, like as in insignificantly small. You think, well, why didn't they just put it through? I think the best thing to do in that case is what is the best thing to do? I think Denise is on the call. Anne, you on the call? Product details should be the same on the SDS. So yeah, it literally could be something like the title that you've put down is different on the form than it is on the product detail page. Email us about that. Email specialist@johnnybradley.com, and we'll see if we can look into it a little bit deeper. But also, hammering seller support, unfortunately, is sometimes a good thing to do, as in just calling them up and just say, can I be put through to the hazmat team? Don't bother explaining the situation to them. Just get a call back, say, can I be put through to that team? And just keep hammering on the phone. I know it's annoying, but sometimes that's what you have to do. But yeah, they're definitely not forthcoming with information. It's a little bit frustrating. In fact, it's very frustrating. We'll circle back to that. Okay, so anti-dumping. So I haven't had to pay this myself. So 12% tariff from manufacturer for anti-dumping. I believe it's not what you think it is. I did research this, but I forgot. Anti-dumping duty. Not jury. Okay, so anti-dumping duty is a protectionist tariff that a domestic government imposes on foreign imports. Okay, so our UK government would impose on foreign imports. that believes are priced below fair market value. Okay. Dumping is a process where a company exports a product at a price lower than the price it normally charges in its own home market. So for that sort of thing, I don't know why they would be charging that, unless they are marking down the invoice by 12%. I don't know why they would do that. I would just clarify that with the supplier themselves. I personally have never had to pay that. But I do remember, I can't remember what product it was for, but someone did quote me on it, and I just found someone else. Yeah, if this was me, then what would I do? So if it was me, what I did do. Find some other suppliers, same product, and just ask them about it, okay? That's the best thing to do. Same thing as like any sort of shipping. You can also reach out to Adam. His email is adam@fba-forwarding.com. So he is a freight forwarder that I know. I often pick up the phone to him and talk to him about different terminology and stuff like that. Reach out to him, say that I've kind of sent you his way, and just ask him about it, because he'll probably be the best source of knowledge for that, because that's what he does for a living, and import stuff. So it's Adam, ADAM, @fba-forwarding.com. So he's a freight forwarder that specifically does FBA shipments. Let's keep going down, keep going down. I did like it. Hands here. Okay, taking on top sellers. Okay, I understand there isn't a perfect product. So my question is, if I feel like I can create a better brand than the current sellers who already have high reviews, 100 to 200, what key factors should I be focusing on to come to a decision? Really good question. Very, very good question, Alex. So one of the most important things you have to do is not think about it from a business owner's perspective. The first thing you need to do is shift your perspective to being a customer. Why would the customer buy your product over someone else's that has more reviews and has more social proof? Okay, sometimes brand is just not enough. Something can look better, but the social proof of something else, having the proof, having the reviews, means that customers buy it. So the first thing you need to do is really put yourself in the customer's shoes and come up with solutions that you think will be beneficial for the customer, right? So do the process of figuring out what their needs are and really try to get into the customer's shoes for this. Again, the main thing you need to do is shift perspective into the customer's shoes and really think about why is the customer going on Amazon and buying it? What are they thinking at that time? Why have they chosen to go and buy it rather than go to the shops? Now, what is it about that product that means the customer wants to buy it? Okay, and they're not specifically brand loyal to any brand. That's why people go on Amazon. They're not loyal to a brand. They just kind of want to go and buy it. So get in the customer's shoes first. That's really important, because if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to provide them with a solution that will better serve their needs. Cat on the table. So the next thing is that you want to come up with a few different ideas on solutions to offer. And just saying like creating a better brand, unfortunately won't cut it, because someone else can just create a better brand than you. Right? Branding is subjective. It depends on what someone perceives your brand to be. So you want to be able to give it more weight than that. So come up with different solutions. The best thing to do at that point is then test those solutions. Not obviously go and buy the products and go and sell them, but conduct experiments. It's called market research. What you would do is you would have a pool of people. Even if it's 10 people, you can go into Facebook groups, you can find these people, and you say to them, hey, releasing these products, doing these products, we have 3 options for you. Which one would you be most likely to buy if this was you? And have the bundles, have everything that's included, and ask people, okay? And if you ask 10 people and 5 of them say one, like, option A is the best, then you're thinking, okay, well, maybe that's the best option. If they're all kind of a bit sporadic, then there's not anyone that kind of particularly stands out, okay? So you do these experiments. This is really, really important to do. And by doing it, you'll then be able to get feedback from those people as to why they chose those particular solutions. So why did you choose option A? Oh, because this, and this, and this. Especially important if you're not the ideal customer. So for example, if you're selling something for like beauty, right? So if I was selling like female beauty products, I'm definitely not the target audience, right? Because I don't use them. So it's really, really important to go and get feedback from the target demographic. So it's just basically market research. If there gets to a point where you think, right, that's a wicked solution, then go to different people. Again, you can find them online, you do friends, family, whatever it is. You just have to do a bit of legwork to do this. And it's worth doing as well. It's definitely, definitely worth doing. Is compare your solution with the other solution, right? The competition. And then see what people say. If people choose their one, then something's not right, right? If the majority of the time their one is chosen, then you haven't done enough to stand out. And you just go through this process of trying to create something that customers actually want more so than the competition. If it gets to a point where your product is clearly better, right? It's perceived as more valuable. The branding is good, which you won't really have until it's done. Then what happens is on Amazon in real life, customers will see that. And if you're positioned in a similar position, a similar space, or you have PPC, they'll see, you know, the competitions, and they'll see yours, and they'll be more curious about yours if you have good pictures and etc. Go click it and hopefully go buy it. The other thing you want to do in these sorts of markets is have a very specific launch strategy and review strategy. You know, you don't want to just launch your product and once you launch your product, then go, oh my God, how am I going to get reviews? Or how am I going to do my launch? And if it gets to that point, then you haven't thought about it enough and you've really missed a trick. So when your products are either being manufactured or being made or whatever stage you want, but ahead of time, is really, really plan out what exactly you're going to do to launch your product. Where are your reviews coming from? Have you got people lined up to buy? It's exactly what I do. People I haven't spoken to for months, I just message them and say, hey, can you do me a favor? I'm going to be contacting you in a few weeks just to do this. Is that okay? And then create a list of people. And then when the day comes, send it out to them. Does that help? Do you have any follow-up questions about that at all, Alex? Okay, Chris, question. Is Christmas cutoff for inbound shipments for all products or only certain categories? So the shut-off or the cutoff point is not so much a cutoff point where they don't allow products into the warehouse. What they're saying is that if the products aren't delivered to the warehouse before that date, Amazon can't guarantee that they're going to be sellable for Christmas because of the extra strain that's put on their fulfillment centers. So they'll still be received, right? They'll still be received into stock, but they may just be sitting to the side for 3 weeks, right? Because there's a backlog of other people's stock that's being received. So that's the only real thing. That's why, and just before that cutoff, obviously it gets crazy. And normally you'll be waiting 2 weeks for stock to be received. So try and get things in as soon as possible, but it will be received eventually, definitely. When it comes to shipping, are the suppliers ever cost effective, or is it better to use an external company? Oh, so when it comes to ship, is that what I said? When it comes to shipping, are the suppliers ever cost? Yeah, they can be, absolutely. So with shipping, right? Let's say you have a supplier and they do huge number of units, right? And they sell to the UK and Europe and Germany and the US, right? They're going to have really good relations with their freight forwarders and their shipping agents. So they'll be getting good deals. Better deals maybe than you could get yourself, or better deals than like a small freight forwarder can get because of the volume that they actually do. They're able to get discounts, right? So it's always worth getting quotes. Get quotes from different suppliers so you can understand the kind of different costs. Get private quotes as well, and just compare. That's the main thing you want to do is literally just compare, because that's going to give you a yardstick as to what is good and what's not good, right? It is useful just to use, obviously, the supplier to organize your shipping, but it's really not hard to get a freight forwarder. It's just a few conversations, and it's really no bother. They do exactly the same job. It's just that you are organizing them or their company to liaise with the factory. It's really, really very easy. So yeah, whichever, just do the research, whichever is most cost effective, and just go with that. Okay, looking to add another product to a bundle in with an existing SKU that is already in Amazon stores. This will effectively create a new bundle SKU. Is the best way of doing this to remove stock from Amazon, package it up at home, and then send it back to Amazon. UPS discounted courier. Let me read this again. 1 second, I'm gonna read it in my head. Okay, so let me make sure I get this correct. You have a product listing at the moment, and you want to add something to that listing. Okay, so it's not a variation. It's you. So say for example, you're selling. You're selling like this mic thing here, and you're bundling an extra cable. Okay, so you want to put an extra cable in with that rather than having it as a separate like variation. Okay, that's what I think you said. So yeah, the problem there is if you just start sending that stock in, then how are you going to know which ones Amazon are selling? So if you change your listing and a customer buys the product which you are now promoting and has this bundled thing, right, this bundled product, and it arrives at their door and it doesn't have it. So yes, what I would do is remove that stock, add the extra bundled products in. So say, for example, you are doing a new order with your supplier. Obviously, have them just sent directly to Amazon so that you don't have to deal with it. But then get them to send you, however many units you need, 100 or 200 units, whatever it may be, of the bundled item to your house, and then repackage, take them, repackage them, and then send them back in. Yeah, that's what I would do. Because otherwise, if you have stock in their warehouse, then Amazon, it's the same SKU. They're not going to be able to tell the difference. So customers obviously would receive the wrong things. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. Good. Ebooks. Is it better to send link to download on product insert or via email? Now, so you want to do it as many ways. And I know I actually don't do this. Where's my box? Whatever, somewhere. You want to get it out as many ways as possible. So with ebooks, then not every customer is going to get it via email. And very rarely someone gets annoyed, but people sometimes do get annoyed because unfortunately people online love to have a moan. They love to find any reason to nitpick. For example, you could go to a restaurant, you could have an incredible meal, it could be the tastiest thing, you have the best service, but if there's a draft, then it may have ruined the whole meal for you, right? For something so small, it could ruin the whole thing. So it is possible. The first thing that you want to do is make sure that you try and give people as many options to get that download. So have it on the listing itself to say that it's going to be delivered to you via email. Try and get it on the box if you are having a box. If you have a product insert like an instructions manual, put it on there. If you have a product insert like a business card, you can stick it on there as well, or a review card and stick it on there. So just try and get it into people's hands as much as possible. If you have a website, have it clearly available on your website. And of course, if someone emails you about it, then make sure that you send it to them and you do it nice and quickly. And just apologize and be courteous and think about customer service. If you are apologetic or whatever it is, or just say, oh, blame Amazon. It must have been Amazon blocking the emails. That's what I do. I say, oh, Amazon sometimes blocks emails because of marketing preferences. You know how it is. And normally people are absolutely fine. Very rarely, like extremely rarely, I've ever had feedback that says that they didn't get it. And unfortunately, bad feedback is always going to happen. It just happens to be that it was because of that. That customer would probably always leave negative feedback. They'll just find any hole to pick apart your product. That's what some people are like. So yeah, just try and get it out in as many ways as possible, as many touch points as possible. Same thing like, the other thing I want to say about that is that on your product packaging, have your email address clearly, like really clearly available. I need a bloody product box. 1 second. Right, so one of these. So for example, on here at the very bottom for support, it's on the front of the box, right? Support email info at Hydrofill, right? You don't want to have it in the T's and C's down here because no one's going to read that, right? No one ever is going to read that. You want to have it nice and available. So if someone has an issue, the box is damaged, something's not included, they don't get the email, then they know that the email address is right there. They've seen it because it's on the front of the box. Or it's in a product insert that says, hey, if you have any issues, here is our email address. Don't try and hide it. You want customers to get in touch with you. If customers get in touch with you, that's your chance to blow them away with customer service. Even if people have a negative experience, and if like something actually did go wrong and maybe it was your fault, if you overcome those objections and you overcome that situation with really good customer service, you can turn a really bad experience into a 5-star experience. I find that some of the best reviews that you sometimes get are from people that had an issue and you went over and above to resolve their issue. And they're so thankful that they have, someone that cares about them, a company that actually wants to make it right. So that's really important. How are we doing, guys? Any questions we've got? I think I had some water. I didn't bring my water up. It's a shame. Agreed. Had a 1-star review and managed to turn it into a 4-star lovely review. Definitely go the extra mile. And sometimes, like, if you have, I've done this in the past, okay, where a customer complains, and I had no idea, this was probably like 2 years ago now. Can't remember what it was, but I found their order and I found their address and I sent them a handwritten card with an Amazon gift card in it, like a £10 Amazon gift card. And I said, we're so sorry that you had this negative experience. Hands up, it was our fault. We really do apologize. As a gesture of goodwill, because we're a small company, we want to send you this £10 Amazon voucher and we've refunded your product for you as well, right? If you do that, that person must be dead inside if they don't go and change that review from a 1-star to a 5-star. Obviously, don't ask them to do that, but they'll feel so guilty that they left a 1-star review and they will feel guilty. They'll feel so thankful that you've gone over and above to try and make it right. And what's £10, right? I would happily pay £10 to remove a 1-star review from any listings. They're a pain in the ass to remove. They're very, if it's relevant, then you can't remove them. Okay, I would pay £100 to remove a review. I would pay £200 to remove a 1-star review. So doing something like that, finding their address and literally handwriting a thank you card or I'm sorry card and putting something in it as a gesture of goodwill will really, really help. So if anything like that happens, go over and above what anyone else would do, and you'll have an incredible customer service and people will love it. Right? They will absolutely love it. What do you think about that? Let me know. Is everyone still following along? You having a good time? Let me know in the old chat. Got probably about 20 minutes left. Time for a few more, couple of questions. All good, all good. Like it, like it, like it. Tina, I think I've got your book here. I'm sending everything tomorrow. I've got a big old post office run to do tomorrow. Got the awards to post. Let's package them up. Post out a few books. Did everyone get a copy of the book? I'm telling you guys, go get it, right? You don't have to take all my upsells, but functional design formula, get it. It's good. You don't need there are upsells. You don't need, get the book and get the functional design formula, which is the last one. Huge amount of work went into it. Get the book, guys. It's not a sales pitch, but it's good. It's good. It's good. I understand the concepts better from the book. So what I did with the book, guys, if you're not aware, the whole purpose of the book is not to be the what to do. That the course, right, as you got, is what to do. There's no conceivable way that I could get the information from the course into a book. It would be like that big and be incredibly boring, right? Because it'd be like click here, click here, click here, which then can get outdated and you can't really change a book once it's been printed, or you can't change a book. The whole purpose of the book is the why, right? Why do things work? Why the theory of like marketing, the theory of branding, the theory of how to come up with ideas. So that when you go through the course, and the whole purpose of the book is to kind of warm people up and all that sort of stuff. If you've read the book, then you can implement the what, which is like the training, so much better because the mindset, the theory has been kind of already drilled into you. So that's kind of where I was going with it. About to trademark a new brand name. Cool, 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 cool. Should I create a new Amazon seller account for this specific brand? You don't have to, like, at all. So obviously your seller name can be A1 Industries, and then under that you can have 15 different brands, right? It doesn't make any difference. Just as if you were selling a Canon camera, you were selling book, you're selling some other stuff that are different brands, right? You can sell multiple brands. That's what Amazon's all about. However, if you are really, really wanting to go down like building a really strong brand, then it can be good to have your seller account as your brand name. To do that, you have to have a few things. You have to have a separate company, a legal separate company, different bank account, different email address, and your accounts, so your existing accounts, must not interact with each other. So you can't buy things from one account to the other. You can't leave yourself reviews over accounts. Very, very important. They'll ban both accounts if you do that. You also have to get permission from the seller performance team. There's an email address. It's like seller-performance at amazon.com or amazon.co.uk or something similar. I have it, I think it's in the course somewhere. If not, then you email me for it, or just call up Amazon. It's really easy. And just ask permission, and they then brief and they tell you, okay, well, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And then all you do is you go onto Amazon, go onto the create new seller account page, and you just do it as you normally would do, as you did when you first did it, and then it'll be fine. And if you ever have any issues with it, then you have that documentation where you ask permission, and they said yes, as long as you don't do this, 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 and this, and you can obviously make sure you don't do those things. So it really depends on you, Chris, what's best for your company, what's best for your brand, and do what's best for you. The book so far so good. Woo. Not really, not needed. Yeah, if it's sorry, it's from Anne. Can you have an Amazon seller account selling multiple brands or just one? Yep, you can do multiple brands. So when you're on your edit detail listing page, then one of the first fields in like the first column tab is branding, and you just change the branding. It's absolutely fine to do that. But I would say, if you really want a strong brand and you're going to do multiple products within that brand, then I would have your own store just for that brand. Because otherwise, even though no one's going to look, right? No customer, it probably doesn't actually make a difference. Customers won't look. But for example, if you saw a mainstream brand and then they had different brands selling underneath them, you'd be like, be a bit confused. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe it doesn't matter actually. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it doesn't matter. No one's going to really tell. No one's going to look. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I guess it's definitely subjective. You can do it, but I don't think anyone would look. That's the thing. Interesting. At that point, I would have the seller name quite generic, so that it does make sense for multiple things. So have it as like your company name, for example. Can you talk about the benefits of enhanced brand content, EBC? So EBC, enhanced brand content, for those that don't know, is when you go onto an Amazon listing, there's a few things that are a little bit different. If you scroll down onto the description, instead of having like text in your HTML, you can have pictures and all sorts of other stuff and graphics. And it's really, really good for two reasons. First of all, it looks good on mobile. Most people shop on mobile. I think it's like 80% of people shop on mobile. So you want to be able to communicate your features and benefits of your product to your customers in the easiest way possible. Obviously, you have your photos, but some people will, instead of look at the photos, they'll just scroll down the page, right? Lots of people interact online very, very differently. So having those pictures and just a different way to lay it out allows you to try and convert customers to understand what your product is, what the benefits are, what the features are, where the value is, in a easier way. Right? Reading text is in the description is hard work, right? A lot of people don't read it for that reason. So definitely beneficial. It also have the ability to do different advertising as well. So again, if you go and search on Amazon, you type in pretty much any keyword, you'll have at the top of the page like a kind of like banner ads. So these are ads that are run by brands that have enhanced brand content. Also, this is in beta at the moment in the UK. In the US, this is something that you can just do, but it's still in beta in the UK. And you'll have the ability to have videos. So you scroll through your photos and then you'll have a video as well, which again is a great way to create a sales video to sell your product. It will help, right? It will help conversions. Just looks more professional, you build more trust with the customer, they're more likely to buy. So huge benefits of enhanced brand content. How do you get it? If anyone does want to know, how do you get it? You need a trademark, okay? So you need an active trademark. If you have enhanced brand content, brand and product selling, will this clash? Oh, it's a good question. Anne, can you answer that if possible? I don't think it will clash. Let me think. It shouldn't clash, because when you create the enhanced brand content, you choose your ASIN. It could clash though, because you have an enhanced brand content store. I need to find the answer to that out. So either Anne will know, or I will find out for you. I can't find where the video option is and have a trademark. That's because you don't have the beta program. So only a select number of sellers will have access to that. Okay, so you just don't have access. You're not in the beta program. You can't join it. You can't opt in for it. This is you either at the moment you do or you don't have it, because they're testing, basically. They're testing to see how it works. At some point, because it is a standard in the US with enhanced brand content, it will be pushed across. I believe, obviously I'm not in charge, but I believe it will be pushed across into the UK completely. But at the moment, only select sellers have it. Not special. I don't have it either. So unfortunately, you know, I've called Amazon up and I was like, please, 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 please. And they're like, nope. If you're in the beta program, you're in it. If you're not, you're not. Yeah, so some people have it, some people don't. How are we doing, guys? We got 15 minutes left-ish. Anything else we want to talk about? Right, guys, so I will need to end this video 5 minutes early. Give me 1 second. 5, 2, 7. The reason being is my team are doing a call at 7 o'clock on my account, and they can't start it until we're off this video. Let me stop the meeting. Stay on host is fine. So I'm just talking to them on my phone. I think, are you in here? No, they're not in here. Yeah, so I'll make sure I kind of quit this a few minutes early so that I don't overrun. And Anne, can you just answer this question from Amir? Which was, if you have EBC and multiple brands, then will they conflict with each other? Is that possible? Nope. Okay, perfect. I won't. Perfect. That's wicked. Good. That's why we love you. You're an encyclopedia of knowledge. I don't even know how you know all this stuff. Crazy. Any last questions we want to go through, guys? Sally's got to leave. Bye-bye, Sally. Hope you had a good time. Oh, guys, actually, while we are here, before everyone does start pinging off, it'd be awesome. I want more people to come to these. The more people that come on, the more questions answered. Like someone will ask a question and you think, oh, that's a really good question. I should have asked that. The more people that come on, the more value that we can give out, the more value that you can get. If you could take a screenshot of your page, right? Just make sure like I'm nice and big. Take a screenshot and go and post it in the Facebook group, right? And say if you got any value from it, if you enjoyed it, then it'll be really, really good if you can go into the Facebook group and just say, hey, just on the strategy call, really enjoyed it. Make sure you get on the next one. I want as many people to come to these as possible because it's so good to be able to actually like speak to you guys, and you guys can ask questions and stuff like that. So I really enjoy doing them, and obviously I want as many people to join these as possible. So it'd be really cool. Take a screenshot. Doesn't matter if I blink in and I look like an idiot. I don't mind. But yeah, take a screenshot and post a little something in the Facebook group. It will really help people just to kind of get more part of the community if they're maybe not joining and they can't see the benefit of joining these calls. Then we want to be able to show them the benefit to make more people successful. Obviously, I want as many people to be as successful as humanly possible, and I believe joining these calls is a great way to do that. When product researching, are we better to search UK rather than USA? I guess UK has more growth market. So, Tina, I don't think there's really a right or wrong answer for that. It really just depends on what you want to do, right? There is no right or wrong. The USA market is ginormous, right? It's just huge. And there's products there that do, over $1 million a month, right? And It's crazy, right? And obviously you wouldn't end up selling those products. But it's way more saturated. It's just hugely saturated. And there's a lot more sellers trying to stand out because it's a bigger market, which is fine. Okay. You can still stand out. You can still make money. You still make a lot of money. It's cool. Just if you choose to do it, go and do it. However, with the UK, my personal belief, and this again, maybe just be my opinion, it's subjective to just what kind of research I've looked into, is that the UK market is, in terms of adoption rates for people that use Amazon, the statistics say, and these are probably a little bit old now, these statistics, but the adoption rate of people actually using Amazon to buy stuff online is less than, as a percentage, less than the US. More people shop in the US on Amazon than as a percentage of the population as they do in the UK. Now, what that shows me is that the growth potential that we have in the UK is huge, because we know that, again, this data will be off. It was like 68% or something similar people shop on Amazon in the US, whereas in the UK it's like 26%, right? It's a lot less, which means that we know that that the ceiling can grow as it gets more well known. Obviously, Amazon was around in the US for longer than it was in the UK, so it matured earlier than it has here. Amazon are putting a huge amount of money into all the markets. They want to dominate and completely take over the world. So I personally believe they'll continue to grow, and we've got a huge, a phenomenal amount of growth left. If you consider the saturation at the moment is relatively quite low, compared to what it could be. Even in places like Germany, Germany's higher than the UK. I think it goes like US and I think maybe Canada, Germany, UK. So we're not the biggest market, we're definitely not the smallest. But I think there's a huge amount of growth potential. So that even if you think to yourself, oh, I'm doing like 5K a month now, that can easily increase like substantially over a few years. If you have a product that has a bit of longevity and you do it right, then there's no reason that you can't be making more and more money as time goes on. And at that point where it does become super competitive for your product niche, you've already got the hundreds, the thousands of reviews because you've been doing it for ages. Sorry if I'm shaking the laptop. So that's my personal belief. That's what I think. Amazon Australia is a huge untapped market. Amazon Australia is a really interesting one because obviously it's closer to the suppliers as well. Yes, it is, yeah. So that shipping is maybe a little bit cheaper. But they've only just started last year. Was it this about 1 year ago, I think, they launched? Slightly more difficult, yeah. So the beginning with Amazon Australia, then it was like an application process, 2017. Bloody hell. So it was, yeah, that was a long time ago now. I think it was late 2017. Must have been late 2017. Must have been. So yeah, if you can get into it, then absolutely get into it. For sure. It's the same thing. It's like it's the same process, which is the good thing. Once you know how to do it in one country, you know how to do it in every single country. Right? The only things that changes is the local laws with regards to like tax and stuff like that. Everything else is the same. Slow adopters, but a massive untapped market once they get going. Yeah, I think it'll be a big market. I think what happens with particularly trends, okay, so this is something that you could actually start to look at, is like, say if you have like toy trends and stuff like that, normally they go from like, okay, they start in somewhere like Australia because it's closer to China, and then goes to America, then comes to the UK. So you can see where trends are going to start popping in the UK based upon the trends that are happening elsewhere in the world, which can be really good. So if you do want to ever do like a trending product, then just keep an eye on other markets, which is quite cool because they kind of show what potentially could happen in the future. Is there any last questions, guys? I'm going to end the call in a minute just to make sure that my guys can start up the next call. Have you enjoyed it? Anyone enjoyed it? Watch out for exchange rate, yes. Everyone enjoyed the call today? We're going to be doing another one in 1 week's time. It should be Thursday again, Thursday at 6 o'clock. So what I'll do on Monday, I will put out another a link to sign up so that you can all get onto that, and we'll do it all again. One little golden nugget. That's all you need. Got something to say. Hang on. All right, Daniel. Hurry up. Definitely will join again next one. Yeah. Thank you for being here, Anna. I really appreciate it. It must be like 4 a.m. for you. Like, what time is it? All right, let me let these guys know. 1 minute. You can start. Just finishing up. Oops. No, it's my pleasure, Chris. It was nice to meet you in person, obviously, and give you your reward. That was really good fun. But yeah, I don't need any thanks at all. Why the hell is there a gun behind you? It's a money gun. So you put like money in it and you spray spray it out. Right, everyone. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Take a screenshot if you haven't already. Post in the Facebook group. That will really kind of help me out to get as many people on these in the future, and obviously help those people out that maybe didn't realize if they're going to be valuable or not for them or useful for them. So if you maybe take one thing that you learn or that you just enjoyed being on the call or whatever it may be, that would be really, really cool. And I would really, really appreciate it if you could do that. So hope you have enjoyed it. Thanks as always for spending your evening with me, and I will catch you next week. See you later, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording.